PMP scenario. Decision making. 10 situational questions with recommended actions and the reasoning behind each best choice. The latest PMP Exam Content Outline 2026. Hop in.
A project delivers a new facility under a fixed completion window. During execution, updated environmental guidance is issued that is not yet mandatory but is expected to become a regulatory requirement within the next year. Incorporating the guidance now would increase near-term cost and slightly extend the schedule but would reduce future retrofit risk and operating impact. Ignoring it allows the project to meet current commitments, with the expectation that compliance could be addressed later through a separate initiative. Senior stakeholders are divided and ask for a recommendation. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Proceed with the current plan based on existing requirements and approved commitments. B. Defer the decision until the guidance becomes a formal regulatory requirement. C. Present delivery options that compare near-term impact and future regulatory exposure. D. Incorporate the guidance now to reduce future compliance and retrofit exposure. Answer C. When external conditions are evolving, PMP-level judgment means framing trade-offs rather than defaulting to timing or compliance status. Comparing near-term delivery impact against future regulatory exposure enables informed governance decisions aligned with long-term value. Question 2. A multi-supplier project operates in a regulated environment. Several medium risks related to data handling and supplier dependency were accepted during planning with defined responses. During execution, the probability and impact increase for 2 risks due to tighter integration and revised vendor sequencing. No escalation thresholds are breached, and delivery remains on plan. Leadership asks how to proceed without disrupting momentum. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Escalate the risks to governance to confirm whether tolerance thresholds should be revised. B. Apply broad mitigation actions across all workstreams to lower overall exposure uniformly. C. Maintain current responses and increase monitoring frequency until thresholds are reached. D. Reassess the affected risks and adjust response strategies where exposure now exceeds limits. Answer D. Risk management is proportional and threshold-based. Reassessing exposure and adapting responses where limits are exceeded addresses rising risk without unnecessary escalation or disruption. Question 3. 2 senior subject matter experts disagree on a technical approach to resolve a recurring defect. Both have credibility and influence, and their disagreement slows decisions and affects team morale. The sponsor asks the project manager to resolve the situation quickly without undermining either expert or creating a visible winner-loser outcome. As project manager, what should you do? A. Escalate the disagreement to the sponsor to make a final decision and enforce alignment. B. Separate the expert's responsibilities to reduce interaction and limit further conflict. C. Facilitate a structured discussion to surface concerns, agree on evaluation criteria, and reach a shared decision. D. Ask each expert to document their recommendation and select the option with the lowest schedule impact. Answer C. Facilitated conflict resolution addresses both the technical issue and the relational tension, enabling a decision while preserving trust, engagement, and shared ownership. Question 4. 2 senior subject matter experts disagree on how to resolve a recurring defect. Their disagreement slows decisions and affects team morale. The sponsor asks the project manager to resolve the situation quickly without undermining either expert. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Ask each expert to document their preferred solution and select one based on schedule and delivery impact. B. Separate the expert's responsibilities to reduce interaction and limit further conflict escalation. C. Escalate the disagreement to the sponsor to make a final decision and formally enforce alignment. D. Facilitate a focused discussion to surface concerns, align on evaluation criteria, and agree on a way forward. Facilitate a focused discussion to surface concerns, align on evaluation criteria, and agree on a way forward. Question 5. A project delivers a new operating model that will change roles, decision rights, and performance measures across several business units. Technical delivery is on track, and leadership has approved the design. Middle managers express concern about loss of autonomy and unclear accountability. Resistance is increasing informally. The sponsor wants to avoid delaying delivery and asks the project manager to focus on execution while letting adoption settle after go live. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Increase communication about leadership support to reinforce commitment to the new operating model. B. Escalate resistance signals to formal governance and request a decision on whether to delay implementation. C. Engage affected managers to surface concerns and clarify accountability impacts before implementation. D. Proceed with delivery as approved and address adoption issues through post-go-live change management. Organizational change risk often emerges below formal governance visibility. Direct engagement with affected managers enables clarification of accountability and decision impacts before implementation, reducing resistance that could undermine adoption and value realization without introducing unnecessary delay. Question 6. A planned activity introduces higher safety exposure due to site conditions and task complexity. Existing controls meet minimum requirements, but near-miss reports indicate elevated residual risk. Delivery milestones are tight, and the activity is on the critical path. Adjustments could reduce productivity. Stakeholders are concerned about schedule impact but expect responsible action. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Halt the hazardous activity and require a new execution plan before resuming work. B. Resequence work to eliminate the hazardous activity from the critical path. C. Redesign the execution approach to achieve the same outcome using a safer method, even if productivity temporarily decreases. D. Proceed with the hazardous activity under existing controls, accepting elevated risk. Answer. Redesign the execution approach to achieve the same outcome using a safer method, even if productivity temporarily decreases. When elevated safety risk is identified but delivery must continue, the PM's responsibility is to reduce exposure at the source. Redesigning the execution approach addresses the hazard itself rather than shifting work or accepting risk, balancing safety accountability with continued progress. Question 7. A hybrid project delivers interdependent components across multiple teams. Reports show milestones on track and costs within tolerance. Trends indicate reduced schedule float and increased rework. No thresholds are breached. A steering review is scheduled next week. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Ask teams to resolve local issues and keep the existing status classification. B. Combine trend data, dependency health, and rework indicators into a single status view. C. Escalate concerns to governance before thresholds are exceeded. D. Maintain the status since milestones and costs remain within tolerances. Answer. Combine trend data, dependency health, and rework indicators into a single status view. Evaluating status requires an integrated view. Combining trends, dependencies, and rework provides a realistic assessment to support decisions ahead of a governance review. Question 8. A project delivers a customer onboarding solution integrating with 3 existing systems. One department requests 2 additional data fields and an extra approval step. Integration team says this requires interface changes and retesting. Sponsor wants to keep the committed delivery date. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Review the request against the scope baseline and its integration impact before deciding. B. Defer the request until after go live. C. Implement the request using schedule contingency. D. Approve the request to address compliance concerns. Scope changes that affect multiple integrations require disciplined evaluation against the approved scope baseline and delivery constraints. Reviewing the request and its integration impact enables an informed decision within delegated authority, balancing compliance intent, delivery risk, and system complexity. Question 9. A project is approaching transition to operations. Deliverables are complete, but residual risks remain related to tuning, stabilization, and supplier coordination. Operations are ready but concerned about inheriting unresolved risks. Delaying handover affects reporting commitments. Proceeding transfers unresolved risk. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Delay the handover until operations confirm readiness. B. Escalate readiness concerns and request a revised transition decision. C. Transfer stable deliverables while retaining temporary project ownership of higher risk elements. D. Proceed with the scheduled handover and rely on operational governance. Answer C. Transferring unresolved risks in full shifts exposure to operations before stabilization, increasing the likelihood of post-transition disruption. Question 10. A project enters a critical testing phase requiring timely stakeholder feedback. Participation has been inconsistent, causing rework and tension. Sponsor supports the project but has limited availability and requests improved engagement without increasing meetings or escalating issues. As project manager, what is the most appropriate action? A. Adjust how and when stakeholders are engaged based on decision impact and required input. B. Ask the sponsor to restate participation expectations. C. Reinforce existing review sessions and remind stakeholders of timelines. D. Proceed with planned decisions using available feedback. Answer A. Improving engagement means aligning interaction methods and timing to decision needs. Adjusting engagement based on influence and impact increases the likelihood of timely, relevant input without adding meetings or relying on escalation.